Hi everyone, and welcome to Bree Healthy. Today's guest is a registered dietitian and founder of her own private practice, Nutrition Works New York. She's an active member of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics and the Greater New York Dietetic Association. She's contributed to various publications, including Cosmopolitan and Time, and you'll likely recognize her by her very popular Instagram account, Veggies and Chocolate. Please give a warm welcome to my friend, Sammi Haber. Hey Sammi, thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure.
Oh, great. So, you're a registered dietitian. What inspired your interest in nutrition?
I got into nutrition kind of in high school, mostly in college. When I was in high school, it was when it was like really cool to be thin. Thin was in, and it was just kind of like the norm to not eat a lot. And then I went to college, like a lot of other people started gaining weight in college, and all of a sudden, like this not eating wasn't working because I was still gaining weight. So finally I went to see a dietitian, and she kind of like opened my eyes to the fact that we need to eat to be healthy and to lose weight. And that just got me really interested in it because I felt like it was such a simple fact that a lot of people didn't know. And ever since then, I was super into nutrition.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people put a lot of pressure on, even still today, even though it was more back then, still today, so many people think, oh, I need to lose this amount of weight, I'm not going to eat anything. And that's just not the right way to go about it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, your Instagram handle is Veggies and Chocolate. What is the meaning behind the name?
Great question. So basically, when I was making my Instagram a few years ago, I wanted it to just be something that like encompassed my nutrition philosophy, which is really like in 3 words, veggies and chocolate, because I think that it's so important for us to eat healthy and eat foods like vegetables, which we know are, the most healthy, most nutritious foods you can get. But at the same time, it's so important to allow all foods and to have something like chocolate or whatever your favorite food is, so that you're not restricting and you don't go crazy, and so that it's sustainable. Because if you aren't allowing your favorite food, that's not a sustainable way to live.
Definitely. I've gone through a lot of different periods of, being more restrictive toward myself, and now I'm in more of a place where I allow myself to have the things that I want, like treats and stuff, because oftentimes you think clean eating all the time, but then you miss all those things, and sometimes then when you allow yourself to, you might binge or you might get a little crazy with it. So from my experience, the balance is awesome, and that's what I seriously love about your message. So I love your all foods fit approach, and as someone who used to be really hard on myself with healthy eating, and when I ate bad, I was extremely hard on myself. Sometimes I would get really down about it. I find this aspect of a healthy lifestyle so important. So was there a time when you weren't as inclusive with foods as you are now?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of almost how I not grew up, but like I definitely was in that same boat where like you thought you didn't have to eat to lose weight, and you felt guilty if you didn't eat healthy. And then I just see it with so many of my clients too, where like there's really this guilt around not eating healthy foods, and there's this like good and bad mentality. So that's why I love the all foods fit mentality, because there really is room for everything. And if you let yourself have whatever it is you want, then it can fit in a healthy way, instead of, like you said, then you kind of probably just end up binging on it and feeling guilty and not even enjoying it. Whereas if you just had a little and allowed it and ate it mindfully, you'd enjoy it so much more.
Definitely, especially when you follow a lot of Instagram accounts where people only post the good things. And that's something that I saw you post about one time that I loved, especially because it's true. On my page, I tend to only post the healthier things. Sometimes I feel like if I posted worse things, it could be a trigger to some of my followers, or sometimes I feel like I just shouldn't be showing the times that I do eat unhealthy. But I think it's important for us to work on showing that side of us more. So definitely, I love that so much. So in the healthy lifestyle niche today, so many people are taking sides on the intuitive eating movement versus more restrictive eating. A lot of people take very strict sides on it, and I just want to know your views on intuitive eating versus restrictive diets.
That's a great question. I agree. I think there's such like a big difference in the nutrition views right now. There is like that one end that's very like clean eating diet, and there's another end that focuses on intuitive eating. I like to think that I fall somewhere in the middle, although probably more towards the intuitive eating side, where I definitely don't think we need to like eat clean all the time. I don't even like the phrase eat clean. I just think it's like so ambiguous, like what is clean eating? And it almost goes back to labeling foods as good or bad, which is what causes guilt around food. So I don't like labeling foods. I don't like anything that's like really big on like only eating healthy foods and having healthy versions of dessert and not allowing food. So I'm definitely not on that side. But then interestingly, intuitive eating is much more listening to your body, following your body's hunger cues and fullness cues and cravings to see what you want, which is much more in line with what I do. The difference is that people who practice intuitive eating don't focus on weight loss, and they really focus on just, not looking at the number, not looking at the scale. And I do work on weight loss with my clients. I just find that a lot of people, like even if it's 5 pounds, they want to feel more confident, and like I want to help them feel more confident. And normally they find it along the way, whether they lose the 5 pounds or not. But yeah, that's why I wouldn't really identify with the intuitive eating. So it's interesting. I think both definitely like are different ends of the spectrum, and I really think I fall like somewhere in the middle that allows all foods but sees the value in healthy eating, and does want to help people get to the weight they want to be at when it's reasonable.
Definitely. So for someone like me, I've counted my calories through an app called MyFitnessPal, and for me, seeing it and tracking it works for me, but I would love to get more into that intuitive eating style of not really, focusing on the numbers, but more focusing on my hunger cues and not saying, oh, I have 300 calories left, what am I going to eat? So what tips would you give to somebody that maybe is used to tracking and wants to become more intuitive?
That's a good question. Yeah, MyFitnessPal can be great in some instances, like in yours. Like I think that's the thing with intuitive eating too, is it just discounts calorie counting. But it's a good question. I mean, there's almost like a middle area where you focus more on mindful eating, where you're just really like start to pay attention to how hungry you are, how full you are, and when you're eating, like really taking the time to taste your food, to enjoy it. I think that so many of us, especially in New York, we just eat so quickly. We don't taste our food. We like don't even know we just ate lunch. So when you eat mindfully, you're much more able to have that experience. And like probably the first thing that I give people to help them is I teach them about the hunger scale, which just basically puts your hunger on a scale of 1 through 10. And a 1 is like you're so hungry that you're starving, gonna pass out if you don't eat something. And a 10 is you're so full that like you're gonna fall asleep, your Thanksgiving full.
Yeah, I was about to say Thanksgiving full.
Exactly, that's like what we associate with full. So, I always tell people like we want to be somewhere in the middle, where you start eating at like a 4, where you're hungry, you feel it in your stomach, but you're not like overly hungry, and you stop eating at a 7, or maybe you're full, you're satisfied, you're content. And that is a good first step, because it's interesting if you start to think about those numbers before or after meals, then that you can really let those almost guide you to think like, am I hungry? Am I full? Am I eating, because of emotions, because I'm bored? And then also thinking about like, what do I want to eat? Like if I could eat anything I wanted right now, what would it be? And the principle of intuitive eating that naturally comes in is that you start to see that like maybe at first you crave less healthy foods when you've avoided them, but after a while your body like really evens out, and you start to crave a really good mix of like healthy foods and less healthy foods.
That's awesome. So what part of the scale would you say that like when your stomach starts rumbling, would you say to wait until your stomach starts getting that little bit of growl? Like, yeah, is that like what 4 is?
It's like there's that physical sensation of hunger. I mean, I guess you never want it to be like a painful like stomach like growing type thing.
Not
like,
one.
Right, but like not like when your stomach's making noises in your office. Like, yeah, we don't want. But like if you like feel it like in your stomach that it's time to eat, and a lot of people like they have lost sight of that even too, just because we get really programmed to eat at certain times. But it's like that physical sensation that once you start trying to notice, you will notice.
Yeah. So would you say more like 6 short meals a day, like 6 small meals, or like literally just as you feel you need to eat, like that more like...
Yeah, as you feel. I mean, the thing is that everyone's so different, and there's no one thing that works for everyone. So like if someone is waking up at 5 a.m. and not going to bed until 11 o'clock, kudos to them. And they also need a lot more food and a lot more meals because they have a much longer day. Whereas other people might prefer to like get a big meal in and then not take a break. So it's definitely personal, but like you're right. Like if you feel hungry, you should eat, and in general, if you feel full, you should stop eating. But easier said than done.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I would love to work on, and it's not easy. Those of you at home, if you're struggling with it too, it's okay. You are not alone. So I actually have one question. What is your favorite vegetable, and what's your favorite kind of chocolate?
Great question. My favorite vegetable was always Brussels sprouts, and I actually feel so sad because I think it's becoming carrots.
Oh, the transition.
It's a big transition. My favorite chocolate, which it's like technically is chocolate, but chocolate chip cookies.
Those are one of my favorites for sure. Are you like white chocolate, dark chocolate, milk chocolate?
Question. Milk. What about you?
Yeah, milk. Although like dark, I like sometimes more depending on the brand, but like milk is a classic.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with milk
I'm
chocolate.
with you.
So, what advice would you give anyone who is trying to live a healthier lifestyle, just in general?
I think that like back to even my Instagram handle, just because that's like the bare bones of my nutrition philosophy. Like the most important thing you can do is just eat more vegetables. And it doesn't have to be like you have a salad every day or you have like a pound of carrots as a snack. Like incorporate them in slowly, add them into pastas, add them into stir fries. Like just like slowly add more into your life. They just have so many nutrients. They have fiber to keep you full, and they like make you feel good, as you probably know.
Definitely.
So I feel like that's the number one thing I'd say. Like just start being healthier. Just eat your veggies and have your chocolate.
That's perfect, because then you get the mood boost from both of them.
Exactly.
Both of them are great, good mood foods. So thank you so much, Sammi, for joining us today.
Welcome.
Thank you all for watching, and please stay tuned to Be Healthy, subscribe to my channel, and I hope that you have a great day.